Patrick Brown's famously calm Best Actor persona is well known across the industry. During a variety show, the host challenged us to make him angry with just one sentence. Everyone else tried and failed, then it was my turn. I said, "It's not that I like emotionally steady men. I just don't like you." He broke character on the spot. Best Actor Patrick Brown's emotionally steady persona was already huge online. It all started with a prank video. With hidden cameras rolling, the guests had to prank Patrick according to the script, losing at games on purpose, waking him up, yelling around him, collectively ignoring him, every kind of stunt. But no matter what everyone did, Patrick stayed calm. No flushing, no arguing. He could even smile after being deliberately left out and say, "How come no one told me we were having a meeting?" That's how he became the capybara of showbiz. Turns out, when a persona gets too popular, it's a headache too. Like on this promo variety show for our drama, the host actually suggested an emotion test. The game was simple. Use one sentence to make Patrick angry. At first everyone was hesitant. After all, Patrick's status as a leading actor and his fanbase were right there. Going head-to-head with him on camera? That's suicide. But the host kept saying, "It's just a game," and Patrick himself generously said we could say whatever we wanted, he wouldn't get mad. So everyone started. First up was the second male lead. He went straight for the height every man cares about and said sharply, "You don't look 6'1". Patrick just smiled. Barefoot, 6'0". All the data on the monitors hooked to Patrick stayed flat, proving he really didn't care. Then came the third male lead. He said, "I talked to your girlfriend." Patrick frowned a little. "I don't have a girlfriend." Seeing the frown, the third male lead pushed on, "Your ex, then." "I've done everything with her. She said you're the worst she's ever met." Patrick laughed again. "No ex either. Don't waste your energy." The third male lead slumped back in defeat. The audience was roaring. Someone even shouted with contempt, "Please. How could Patrick be worse than you?" which sent the mood higher. The male supporting cast was wiped out, then it was the actress's turn. "You're the least sexy man I've ever seen. Your emotionally steady face is really ugly. Your acting is so bad." To me, any of those is enough to make someone mad for 3 months, but Patrick still didn't budge. He even replied to each person gracefully. He was so at ease it made you want to punch him. Very soon, I was the only one left from the whole crew. Everyone put their hopes on me. The second female lead even grabbed my hand excitedly and said, "Emily, we're all counting on you." The rule said whoever lost had to buy dinner for everyone, including staff and live audience. We leads could pool money and it wouldn't be much, but obviously not paying felt better. I pressed my lips together and said, "Actually, I don't like emotionally steady men." Patrick slowly lifted his eyes, and I added the second half, "I just don't like you." He very clearly froze. He was still smiling politely as he said, "If you don't like me, then you don't like." The monitor data suddenly spiked and tore through his calm. Breathing, blood pressure, heart rate, everything was shooting up. Patrick was mad. The studio exploded. The leads all looked thrilled. The host fanned the flames and joked, "Is he gonna blow the machine?" Patrick closed his eyes and laughed. I didn't know if he was forcing it or trying to act relaxed, but he said, "Dinner's on me tonight." A free dinner is always nice. But after the free dinner came 3 trending hashtags. Patrick is angry. Emily doesn't like Patrick. People who didn't know the context clicked in and got even more confused after watching the clip. Why was Patrick angry again? Just because Emily Clark said she didn't like him? Come on, every line before hers hit harder than Emily's. Relax, my guy just wanted to treat everyone to dinner. What if Patrick actually likes Emily? Please watch Girl Joyce every night at 8 on Pair TV. Be a happy girl, live a happy life. Okay, I get it now, it's just drama promo. The drama is still airing, so they're shipping them, right? Promo methods really are getting fancier. Seeing public opinion lean toward "it's just promo," I let out a small sigh of relief. Because I was only testing. I kind of suspected Patrick liked me, and I kind of wanted Patrick to like me. Mixing personal feelings into filming is always a taboo, so I've always told myself to separate on-screen and off-screen. But if feelings could be rational, that'd be great. Even I couldn't tell when my heart fell for Patrick. I liked him, but didn't dare say it. So I could only test him in secret. I once said in an interview that my ideal type was an emotionally steady man. Right after that, Patrick's emotionally steady persona blew up across the whole internet. It felt like fate. Or maybe I was just blindly optimistic in love, but I kept feeling like he did like me a little. Tonight what I really wanted to say was, it's not that I like emotionally steady men. I just like you. I said the opposite. But it seemed to work anyway. Patrick's reaction was way bigger than I expected. If he cared that I didn't like him, doesn't that mean he wanted me to like him? Even I knew that kind of flimsy inference was ridiculous, but I still couldn't help imagining things. Very soon, Patrick heartlessly shattered my fantasy. He posted, "Patrick v. Joyce doesn't like George, so how could George be happy? Hope everyone enjoyed dinner tonight." I sighed. That one line explained the emotional spike tonight perfectly. It was for the role, for the bill, definitely not for me. I was sad. I decided I wouldn't like Patrick for the remaining 13 minutes of the night. I'd talk about liking him tomorrow. I pulled up the blanket and went to sleep. When I woke up, at the top of my chat was a string of unread messages from Patrick. "What gives you the right to not like me? Forget it. Who wants your like? I have so many fans, am I missing yours? Don't like me then, who cares? You sure you don't like me? I am the most emotionally steady man in showbiz and you don't like that? You don't like that? I'll give you one more chance. Say you like me. Stop, I don't want to hear it. Did I hear wrong tonight? Did you actually say you like me?" The last one was from a minute ago. "Patrick, had too much to drink, sorry." I blinked. So, did he like me or not? Before I could figure it out, my agent was already knocking at my door. Promo season for a drama is always busy. The moment I woke up, I got dragged into a packed schedule. But sometimes being busy is good. Because it meant I could see Patrick often these days. The old me would never have imagined I'd be overjoyed to work. That's the power of a crush, I guess. After a long, full day, my body was tired, but my heart was pounding because I was about to see Patrick. We had a live stream together later. On a short video platform, we were going to stream the latest episode of Girl Joyce and chat with the fans. When I arrived, Patrick was already there. He was in a white sweatshirt and light jeans, black hair a little messy, head slightly lowered, listening to staff. He looked completely fresh and boyish. There were less than 30 minutes left till we went live. I quickly changed into a shirt and pleated skirt and sat beside him. On the warm orange sofa, it was just the two of us. All around were staff prepping for the stream. I was listening to my assistant explain the rundown, but I was still sneaking glances at Patrick. The makeup artist was fixing his hair. His assistant brought over a stack of notebooks for him to sign. My agent bent down to say something to him. He looked over at me, then nodded. I was wondering what that was about when the live stream director called the countdown. Patrick suddenly scooted closer, the sofa dipped. In that tiny drop of weightlessness, I heard Patrick say softly, "Do you really not like me?" I thought I heard wrong. He looked at me and repeated, aggrieved, "Do you really not like me?" Before I could answer, the camera swung onto the two of us and the live stream started. Patrick slipped into on-cam mode in a second. I hurried to adjust my mood and greet the fans in the chat. The comments were flying. I made it ah. Husband wife good evening. So compatible so compatible so compatible so compatible. What was up with last night's trending topic? Do you really not like him? The staff off camera were holding up A4 boards telling us to interact, so I braced myself and answered through the comments. I don't not like him, but the game said we had to make him mad, so I could only say I didn't like him. Patrick picked it right up beside me. You could have said so earlier. I was mad all night. The chat was full of ha 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 ha. I laughed too. I was already almost unable to tell if he was faking it or not. The opening song ended and we got into the new episode of Girl Joyce. The second I saw what the leads were wearing, I felt a bad premonition. There was a kiss scene. Only then did I finally understand why they chose tonight to do a watch-along. And I hated myself for being too shy to keep up with the drama. If I'd watched ahead, I could have been mentally prepared. Patrick clearly hadn't prepped either. He realized late and said, there's a kiss scene tonight. The comments boiled over in an instant. This is my guy's first kiss on screen. I'm so excited. More excited than for my own kiss. The little couple is finally gonna kiss wah. Be honest, how many takes did it take when you filmed it? Patrick said, forgot. My kissing skills aren't very good, he said, sounding a little sorry, then turned to me. Hope Emily doesn't mind. I closed my eyes, but I still couldn't stop my face from burning. What's the use of minding, we already kissed. I dug my nails into my fingers to stay clear-headed and said back, I don't mind. I kind of liked it. Whoosh. I saw Patrick's face turn red too. Blushing, he and I together welcomed the kiss scene everyone had been waiting for. Just now he'd been enthusiastically explaining behind-the-scenes stories to everyone, but right then Patrick went quiet like a gourd with its mouth sawn off. That silence was exactly like him on set during the kiss. When we shot that scene, I hadn't yet realized I liked him. I'd only heard it was his first on-screen kiss, so I was afraid he'd be awkward and went to him first to say, later you can kiss me however you want, I'm fine. Patrick looked at me with wet eyes. I took a deep breath and said, based on the script, it should be a bit rough. You can bite. Patrick's face went red, but he was stubborn. Are you teaching me? I somehow heard a trace of indignation and explained, if you're very experienced in real life, pretend I didn't say it. No, he denied right away. Maybe he was afraid I didn't hear him, so he lifted his eyes and said very seriously, I haven't kissed anyone else. You're the first. I think I started falling from that moment. Because the way he looked at me then was impossible not to like. Beside me, Patrick shifted his leg and pulled me back to the present. On the big screen, the kiss had already ended. The comments were all prairie dog screeches. Ah, so hot. This is a live stream. Not your bedroom. Girl, you must be tired of acting, switch with me for 2 episodes. I wanna kiss big sis. Bro, can you describe in detail what it's like kissing Emily? This is very important for tonight's dream. Patrick's voice went a bit hoarse as he teased, not telling. Now it wasn't just the comments, everyone in the studio was laughing. The straight-to-the-point flirting clearly worked. All the way back in the car I was still replaying the live stream, and all the things Patrick said to me today. I felt like things were clear. The test had done what it was supposed to do, Patrick probably really did like me. His flirty tone, that faint closeness, it all felt like he was hinting he wanted to go further. I thought, it's time to confess. Wrapped in pink bubbles all evening, I'd already started imagining the beautiful scene where we finally pierce the window paper and we're in love with each other. My agent suddenly said, you did well tonight. Huh? I blinked. You two sold the CP really well, she said. Worth me talking to Patrick beforehand. I remembered their brief talk before the stream, and that glance Patrick gave me. My heart shattered. So it was all fake. My agent kept twisting the knife. Patrick really lives up to Best Actor. Watching you guys, I honestly thought you two were dating. I thought we were about to date too. Her eyes were shining as she asked, you're not actually dating, right? Dating, I slumped in the seat and said, if we were dating, wouldn't I have told you? My agent smiled, satisfied. I dragged myself home, my grand plan from the car completely gone. Soaking in the tub, I thought, I can't confess rashly. If Patrick doesn't like me, wouldn't it be super awkward if I confessed? And right now we still work together and see each other a lot. One wrong move and it could affect work. Getting rejected would be worse, I'd lose face and dignity, and only awkwardness would be left. I decided not to confess. I'd keep flirting, keep testing, and try to snag Patrick soon. Satisfied with the strategy, I stepped out of the bathroom. After getting ready, I lay on the bed and opened the Pademi CP group. As the name says, it was created for me and Patrick. Everyone inside firmly believed Patrick and I were dating, or if not, then we were clearly two-way and just one step away. In short, they all said things I liked to hear. I opened it as usual, but unexpectedly saw everyone crying in the chat. Scrolling up, I saw someone had caught Patrick at the door of a bar late at night with a pretty girl. A few pictures, lighting dim. Patrick was wearing a cap and mask, holding a drunk girl in a camisole in his arms, the two of them pressed close, very intimate. What annoyed me the most was, he was still wearing the same clean, refreshing outfit from the live stream that made my eyes light up. Which means, he went there right after the live stream. Didn't even have time to change. While I was imagining us being mutually in love, he was holding another woman at the bar being all cozy. The group was still arguing. It's really B, guess I won't love again. Not necessarily a girlfriend, maybe a sister or something. I vote friend, this is just normal support when a friend's drunk, doesn't look over the line. You guys above, stop lying to yourselves. Sigh. Tonight's live stream was so sweet. Can't ship anymore, bye. +1. If you don't want to ship then don't, why try to start drama here, this is the Pademi CP group thanks. I'll ship whatever I want, none of your business? When the group chat was exploding, the owner spoke up. This is the Pademi CP group. We only welcome Pademi CP fans. If you don't agree, please leave voluntarily, thanks. The member count started dropping. I hesitated for a long time, then still chose leave this chat. All this time, I'd only ever considered the question, does Patrick like me, and never considered there might also be, Patrick likes someone else. In that moment, I finally faced reality. I had to give up. I couldn't like him anymore. I tossed my phone aside, hugged the blanket, and told myself rationally, that's the end of my crush. I didn't last 3 seconds. I kicked the blanket off and yelled at the ceiling, damn you, Patrick. I'm never liking you again. I lay in bed and counted Patrick's flaws. I counted for almost half an hour and couldn't come up with a single one. Other than not liking me, he didn't really have any. While I was trying to dig through anti-fan posts to find his flaws, the culprit texted me. Patrick, asleep? I scoffed. With warm-scented softness in his arms, he still had time to ask if I was asleep? I didn't reply. He sent a second message. Patrick, heard you've been wanting to meet director Edward. He's having dinner tomorrow night, wanna come with me? My heart leapt, then cleared right up. He has a girlfriend now. Even if I want to meet director Edward, it can't be through him. I ignored it and went back to looking for flaws. When I glanced back at the chat, I saw the top kept showing, the other party is typing. Half an hour later, I finally got his message. Patrick, during the live stream, you said you liked kissing me, were you serious? I froze a little. It took me a few seconds to realize what he meant. Was I really liked it about kissing him real? Of course not. I sulked. He has a girlfriend and he's texting a coworker late at night about ambiguous stuff. What kind of scumbag move is that? Instant ick. I threw the phone aside, muttered, "Men don't deserve my love," 3 times, hugged my blanket, and went to sleep. The next day I had a magazine shoot. My makeup artist studied my face and asked, "Didn't sleep well?" I didn't want to admit it and insisted, "I slept okay." She laughed and, while doing my makeup, reminded me, "Next time don't stay up before a shoot. These lenses are scary, every little flaw shows." I agreed and swore I'd never be sad over Patrick again. With my heart cut off, I slayed in the studio. Flashes kept going off. We shot for a full 2 hours before the photographer called for a break. My assistant helped me to a chair. The chair faced the door, and I saw someone who shouldn't have been there, Patrick. He'd brought afternoon tea. He stood at the door and smiled shyly. "Everyone's worked hard. Emily's treating." Then he asked the staff beside him to help hand them out. While everyone cheered, I stared at Patrick walking toward me with a head full of question marks. He handed me what he was holding. "Your favorite Rome's mini cakes and jasmine honey tea." I didn't take it. I pulled him to a quiet corner and lowered my voice. "What exactly are you doing?" Patrick looked clueless. "I'm not doing anything." He lowered his head, unwrapping the drink as he said, "I texted you last night and you didn't answer. About Director Edward's dinner tonight, do you want to go? If you do, we can go together after you finish this shoot." Then he held the drink with the straw to my lips. Right then I felt how absurd it was. Half leaning on the wall, I looked at him. "Don't you think you're going too far?" Patrick was confused. "How am I going too far?" I pointed at his hand trying to feed me. "That's you going too far." "Ah." Patrick yanked his hand back at once and said apologetically, "I forgot you can't eat during a shoot. That's on me. I won't do it next time." For a second I really couldn't tell if he was acting or not. I decided to say it outright. "We're just coworkers. You feeding me, is that appropriate?" The surprise on Patrick's face wasn't fake. "Just coworkers? What else?" He pressed his lips together. I cut him off. "We're just coworkers. Don't overthink it." After finding out he had a girlfriend, I wanted to bury every trace I'd ever liked him. Patrick let out a sudden sigh. He seemed to accept it, so he handed the things to me. "Even if we're just coworkers, I can still buy you things, right?" I really thought this guy had no boundaries. I snapped, "Can you have some basic decency as a man, please?" He gave a half-angry laugh. "How do I not have decency? Ask yourself." I glared at him. "From now on, unless it's a must, keep your distance from me." In his stunned gaze, I turned and walked away. I thought Patrick would do as I said and keep his distance, but he still crossed the line. Right before bed, I got a friend request from Director Edward. He and I had never had any contact. There was only one reason he'd add me first: Patrick helped. I wanted to act tough and ignore it, but the director sent the request again and again. "I'm Edward." Those 4 words made my scalp tingle. I gritted my teeth and accepted. He messaged right away, "Patrick said you really want to work with me. Let's do it when there's a chance." I guiltily replied, I'm looking forward to working with you." The chat was over, but my heart felt like a thorn had grown in it. I felt like I owed Patrick once. My cursor blinked beside "thank you" in our chat, but I just couldn't press send. Forget it, I thought. I'd already said what I said in the daytime, "Unless it's necessary, let's not talk," was more suitable for us. But if I could avoid him in private matters, I couldn't avoid him in work. Especially since he and I were the male and female leads of Girl Joyce, currently a hit drama, and we were the hot CP right now. Today we had a promo visit to Pear TV. On the way, Sister Lily told me, "They added Richard last minute. You and he have gained a lot of CP fans recently, remember to interact with him." Richard was the second male lead of A Girl Joyce. I was pleasantly surprised. "So it's not just me and Patrick, right?" "Right," Sister Lily smiled at me. "Why are you this happy?" I thought silently, if I don't have to just sit and stare at Patrick, of course I'm happy. When I got to the lounge, Richard was already there. The moment he saw me he waved enthusiastically, "Emily, come here, I've got your favorite little cakes." I walked over and still reminded him, "Weren't you dieting for the new drama?" I overdid it, the director told me to put some back on. He was grinning proudly, and after he laughed he even scooped a spoonful of cake to my mouth, urging, "Hurry, hurry, it's gonna fall." I was caught off guard and took a bite. That was when Patrick opened the door and came in. Richard greeted Patrick while wiping the cream off the corner of my mouth with a napkin, asking, "Well? Tastes good, right?" I took the napkin from him and laughed awkwardly. "It's good, but I can do it myself." Compared to Richard's enthusiasm, Patrick looked especially cold. Ever since he came in, he hadn't said a word. No matter how warmly Richard asked him to eat, he stayed silent. The lounge got weird. Maybe Richard had dieted so hard his brain shrank too. Everything he thought tasted good, he had to share with me. If I didn't open my mouth, he'd bring it right to my lips. He was really into feeding. After he fed me another chocolate, the cold Patrick finally said, "Richard, do you not have manly decency either?" Richard was blank. "What?" Patrick blocked him with my own words. "You two are just co-workers. You feeding her, is that appropriate?" Richard stared at me, totally confused. "How is it not appropriate?" I really couldn't stand it anymore and snapped at Patrick. "He's not the same as you." "How is he not the same?" Patrick asked back. "He doesn't have a girlfriend." I just said it all. "You, as a man with a girlfriend, feed me food, introduce me to directors, and deliberately say ambiguous things to me. Do you think that's appropriate?" Patrick stared at me for a few seconds, then pushed his tongue against his cheek and let out an angry laugh. He said, "When did I get a girlfriend?" The lounge temperature dropped to freezing. Food-loving Richard saw it was bad and ditched the whole table to run. I had been so sure Patrick had a girlfriend. But seeing him so righteous, I suddenly wasn't so sure. I was hesitating to speak when the door opened. Patrick's assistant walked in with a phone and said, "There's a rumor we need to handle." He handed the phone to Patrick. "A fan group had a fight over the CP, and someone posted this photo in there. Might be that night you went to pick someone up and got photographed. Now it's been bought onto a smear trend. Brother James says it's best to clarify." Patrick looked at it for a few seconds, seemed to realize, and suddenly turned to me. "You saw this too?" He showed me the screen. In the dark photo, two people were very close, exactly the evidence that kept me awake these nights. I didn't say a word. Patrick explained, "That's my cousin." One sentence shattered all my suspicions. Inside, my heart was roaring. Patrick tossed the phone to his assistant and said casually, "You clarify it. You were there that night anyway." After the assistant left, he repeated, "Not a girlfriend. My cousin." Patrick explained properly, "She's my uncle's daughter. She was heartbroken and disappeared. The family couldn't reach her and got anxious. Coincidentally, a friend saw her in a bar, so I went to get her. She didn't want to come with me. I dragged her back." Patrick frowned a bit. "When she struggled, it probably looked intimate, but she definitely isn't." "Stop." I cut him off. I was so embarrassed I wanted to sink through the floor. Mistaking his cousin for his girlfriend, what was I doing? Patrick looked very interested and leaned in to look at me. "So you were being cold these past few days because of this?" I still mouthed off, "No. He clearly knew that was the reason. I said on purpose, "We're coworkers. Isn't this how coworkers should get along?" I thought, I don't want to be ambiguous anymore. Whatever it is, today we need a result. Either we date, or I stop thinking about it. Ambiguity was making me miserable. I didn't want to keep going in this fog. Patrick scolded, "Who wants to be coworkers with you?" Whatever he was about to say was cut off by Richard barging in. Leaning on the door, Richard reminded us, "The floor tour's starting, are you guys done talking?" I sighed inside. So today was destined to have no answer. I stood up, hesitating, but Patrick, who'd been sitting the whole time, grabbed my wrist. He didn't let me go. He waved Richard away and finished what he hadn't said, "I like you." My eyes went wide at him. He smiled and said, "This isn't the perfect time to confess, but I wanted you to know." There was knocking on the door, Richard urging us again. "Now, let's go work." Patrick stood up and coaxed me in a low voice, "When the event's over, I'll give you a proper confession, okay?" Before I could answer, he took my hand and opened the door and walked out with me. I don't even remember how the floor tour ended. I only remember there were lots of people, it was very noisy, and Patrick kept me protected in his arms the whole time. Luckily the event wasn't complicated. Excited Richard was loud enough to capture everyone's attention. All I had to do was smile and hand out gifts. When it was over, I sat in the nanny van waiting for Patrick. He'd asked me to, specially. The parking lot was completely quiet. I reflected on why I was listening to him this much, but I still couldn't help waiting. Maybe I wanted a proper answer from him too. Before long, footsteps sounded outside. I got nervous for no reason and looked up. Patrick was opening the door, smiling at me, his smile bright. "Something came up last minute, sorry." He sat down beside me. So strange. He hadn't done anything, but from that moment on my heart started thumping. Patrick said, "I was actually scared I'd open the door and you wouldn't be here. Thank you for waiting? I cut him off. When did you start liking me? Patrick froze. Then he said, I don't remember when. I just know that after we finished filming, I kept thinking about you. At first I thought it was weird. I thought it was because of the role, so I forced myself not to contact you for a few months. Then I found out not contacting didn't help. I only missed you more. But I didn't dare confess. I was afraid I'd be rude to you, and afraid you'd reject me. He gave a bitter smile. You said, I don't like you, so casually, and I was heartbroken for so long. I pressed my lips together. It was like seeing myself on him. I was trying to find an escape route for my own secret crush. I asked him, your emotionally steady persona. That was on purpose, he said. I saw your ideal type interview. I wanted you to notice me too. Then he asked, a little unsure, I'm still pretty steady, right? I didn't overdo the persona, did I? I couldn't help laughing. Of course you count as steady, my ideal type was literally you. Patrick looked at me. Feeding you was me being rude, introducing you to the director was me not being able to help it, but I wasn't trying to flirt with you on purpose. He said, I just wanted to know if you liked me a little too. I blinked. You said on the live stream that you really liked kissing me, he said, and his face turned red as he talked. After a while he finished, so I couldn't hold it in. I actually hesitated for a long time, he added. I teased him too. If I'd replied it was true back then, what were you gonna do? Of course get together with you, he said, totally justified. I felt shy for no reason and also like I'd missed so much. If we hadn't had that misunderstanding, we'd be glued together by now. That was when Patrick confessed a second time, I don't have a girlfriend. I only like you. Give me a chance to chase you, okay? I said on purpose, no. He sounded disappointed. No need to chase, I said. He sounded happier. I dove right into his arms, hugged his waist, looked up and said with a smile, because I like you too. He suddenly didn't know what to say. That dumbfounded look gave me such a sense of accomplishment. I couldn't help hugging him and shaking him. However much you like me, that's how much I like you. I kissed the tip of the completely frozen Patrick's nose. After a long while, he finally put his hand on my lower back. Copying me, he kissed the tip of my nose too and said solemnly, I don't know how to describe how happy I am right now, but I'll always remember this feeling. He looked at me and said, because only you can give it to me. I blinked. He wrapped me up in his arms again and sighed from the heart, what do? I'm so happy. Curled up in his arms, I thought quietly, what can we do? I feel the same. After we started dating, Patrick and I agreed not to go public. We'd only just begun. We had to protect this little seedling. But plans never keep up with change. The first to find out was our managers. After a live stream interview, my manager pulled me to a corner and asked very seriously, is there something going on with you and Patrick? I'd wanted to hide it, but then I thought there was nothing to hide, so I just nodded, we're dating. She rubbed her forehead and was silent for a long time. Finally she said 2 words, forget it. She didn't push, but I was curious. Sister Lily, how did you tell? She scolded me, with the way you two look at each other 80 times in 1 minute, with all that eye-threading, and you're asking how I could tell. I was silent. Back home, I reported to Patrick, Sister Lily found out. Patrick sent back a panicked emoji, she's not gonna break us up, right? He called right away. He sounded really anxious, baby, don't dump me just because she said so. We just started dating, who breaks up right after? I cut him off. No one said anything about breaking up. Patrick paused, then calmed down. Good. But Sister Lily wants us to watch our image. I'm already being very careful, Patrick said. He sounded so good I had to laugh. Then what are you like when you're not careful? He said quietly, I want to kiss you. Every minute, every second. I didn't dare say I was the same, because right now Patrick couldn't handle me teasing him at all. The second to find out was sharp-eyed netizens. Lately a lot of people online were asking if Patrick and I were together. And it wasn't just random gossip, they came with evidence. At the airport, Patrick and I had the same hat and matching rings. Paparazzi shots of Patrick and me going in and out of the same hotel, 2 nights and 3 days. Behind the scenes from live streams, Patrick secretly hooking my pinky off camera. Every single thing became proof that we were dating. We hadn't planned to go public so soon, but right then we had to put it on the table. After thinking it through, we decided to wait till Girl Joyce finished airing. After all, going public would cause an impact we couldn't measure. We didn't know yet if it'd be good or bad, so we could only try our best not to affect work. But plans failed a second time. The cause was Patrick's emotionally steady persona. Everyone knew director Edward had a bad temper. Since he'd been hanging out with Patrick, netizens started comparing the two, saying only 2 people with complementary tempers matched. But some fans' wording got skewed. They kept criticizing Edward while praising Patrick, and eventually Edward got annoyed and clapped back. He said outright, "Patrick is emotionally steady my ass." The netizens put on their debate armor right away, saying he was triggered, he was broken. In a rush, director Edward directly posted a video to prove his point. In the video, Patrick's cheeks were red, his eyes hazy, obviously drunk. He was mumbling, "She said I don't have manly decency. I don't get it. How do I not have manly decency?" Off camera it was Edward's voice, "Who said that?" "Emily," drunk Patrick answered. Hugging a bottle, he looked utterly wronged. "How do I not have manly decency? I button my shirt all the way to the top, I don't even show my ankles, I saved my first kiss for her, how do I not have manly decency? How do I get manly decency?" He whined, "So having no manly decency means I can't like her." Edward comforted him, "Don't listen to her. You've got the most manly decency. I shouldn't listen to you." Patrick got emotional and cursed, "You're useless. I even planned to introduce her to you, and she didn't come. Tell me, what good are you?" Edward finally lost it and cursed back, "You're really disgracing men." Drunk Patrick ignored him and still lay on the table sulking about manly decency. "Why does she get to say I don't have manly decency? What does she know? I've got the most. If I didn't, I would have kissed her right away. Would I be holding back?" At the end of the video, Patrick buried his face in his arm and mumbled, "Can't hold back even a little." I have to say, Edward really is a great director. He even filmed a daily life short with that attitude, so vividly it went viral the moment it was posted. It immediately shot to the trending page. Patrick's persona just collapsed. Patrick deceived Emily. Patrick has no sense of masculine decency. Masculine decency, my foot. Does Patrick even know what masculine decency is? Emotionally steady? Yeah, right. When things blew up, Patrick immediately got an apology text from Edward. "Bro, my bad. Say what you need. How about I cast Emily as female lead in the next film?" At this point, there was no need to hide. Patrick and I talked and both posted our official statements. Patrick v. Girlfriend, come out and make it official. At Emily. Emily v. Okay, boyfriend. At Patrick. Patrick v. Girlfriend, come out and make it official. At Emily. Amid a screen full of shock and blessings, Patrick and I looked at each other and smiled. Patrick put his arm around my shoulders and sighed, "Really didn't expect we'd go public like this." "I kind of like it," I said, and opened that video again right in front of him. Patrick instantly pulled a pained face. He said helplessly, "How many times do you have to watch it to be done?" "I don't know," I laughed, watching drunk Patrick rant, and suggested, "What if we play this at our wedding?" "I agree to the wedding, not the video," he said. "What a pity." Just then, the video got to the part where drunk Patrick was whining, and I said to the Patrick outside the video, "Your emotions are really not that stable. The day I said I didn't like you too, I exaggerated, you drank and sent me a whole bunch of messages." Patrick's face got serious right away. "No refunds after sale." I laughed and said, "Actually, I kind of knew." I closed the video and finally said the line I hadn't dared to say back then. "But I don't like emotionally steady men. I just like you." Patrick was dazed for a few seconds. And then, completely unable to withstand teasing, he turned into a wolf in a second. The whole room turned hot.